Happening now after a child rapist in Chautauqua County was convicted last week, we're highlighting the importance of keeping open conversations with your children and an update on a Jamestown murder case as an appeal is struck down. Plus, we have an inside look at one of two emergency homeless shelters here in Jamestown, providing a vital need this winter.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, a 3.8 magnitude earthquake shook parts of western New York today. The United States reported the detection with an epicenter in West Seneca. Our viewers first stated that they felt their home shake at about 6:15 in the morning. Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz confirmed the quake, and he said it was felt as far north as Niagara Falls and as far south as Orchard Park. He says it felt like a car hit his home in Buffalo. In fact, he jumped out of bed. Now, geological experts say that earthquakes are not as rare as one may think.
If you go to Attica, New York, which is 22 miles from here, where the prison, and not the Ithaca, but the Attica, there was a magnitude 4.8 in 1929, which, keep in mind, is logarithmic scale. So 4.8 is 10 times stronger than what we had here this morning. So that's about the picture overall of what we've seen in the last century.
Now, anyone who felt the quake is asked to report it to the USGS. You can do that online at earthquake.usgs.gov/earthquake. Well, following the conviction of a Silver Creek man for child rape, sex abuse, and child pornography, a local child advocacy group, they're encouraging parents to keep an eye on their children. The child advocacy program in Chautauqua County, known as CAP, says that for any parent who has been scared watching the Dustin Post child rape case unfold, to make sure they have open conversation with youth.
Talk to your children, lots of talking, right? And checking in, know where they're going, know what's happening, know who their friends are, know who their teachers are, lots of conversations.
Known as CAP, the Child Advocacy Program works with multiple local, state, and federal agencies to investigate abuse in the area.
We provide trainings called, Stewards of Children is a great one that's offered to community members to really empower normal folks and how to identify when somebody's being abused, when a child's being abused, and what to do. How can you intervene in a way that's appropriate?
CAP was formed in the early 2000s, mimicking other groups across the country following an increase of abuse. Since they are multidisciplinary, it reduces the need for the victim to duplicate interviews and relive their trauma.
If a child comes forward to you with a disclosure of abuse, or if you suspect a child in your life is being abused, we encourage you not to ask a lot of questions, not to dig in for details, not to bring this child to multiple people, as we were kind of talking about, to share their story, but to go right to the professionals.
CAP also offers a protective parenting class, as well as a collaborative class with the Jamestown Police Department called Links to Safety.
A two-part training for parents about parenting in a digital age. So cool. The first half of the training is all about those soft parenting skills, relationship skills, the conversations we need to have. And then the second half, how to put controls on your routers, how to put stuff on your Androids, your iPhones, and how to do all the technical stuff.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. All services are free thanks to government funding, grants, and donations. The group has two upcoming fundraisers, Fire and Ice, that's on February 9th through the 11th in Celeron, and the Diamond Dinner on April 22nd in Mayville. Well, the Jamestown man imprisoned for shooting and killing his estranged wife in 2016 has lost his appeal of the case. Keith Robbins petitioned the New York State Supreme Court Appellate Division to reduce the 25-year state prison sentence previously handed down by Chautauqua County Court Judge David Foley. The 42-year-old was arrested at his home following an area-wide manhunt after he killed Sherry Robbins as she was parking her car to go to work near a Jamestown nursing home. Just before he was taken into custody, Robbins stabbed a Jamestown police canine before turning the knife on himself. He pled guilty to first-degree manslaughter in November 2016, just before he was set to stand trial. Without pleading guilty, he faced a felony murder charge, which could have led to life in prison. Robbins is incarcerated at the Auburn Correctional Facility and is not eligible for release until 2038. A 28-year-old Jamestown man is accused of stealing his girlfriend's car. Just after midnight today, officers with Jamestown Police responded to a Northside residence for a peace officer call. Now, following an investigation here, it was alleged that Nye Findley took his girlfriend's vehicle from an address on the city's north side Saturday. Since then, the car was located and returned to its rightful owner. As a result of the allegation, Findley was taken into custody and faces third-degree unauthorized use of a vehicle charge. Police say that Findley was held at Jamestown City Jail pending arraignment. Well, lawmakers in the city of Jamestown, they're questioning the legal authority behind pledging the city's combat climate change. Our Bronson Rasmussen, covering City Council for us, joins us with more from the New York State Climate Smart Communities Pledge and what's at issues here with our local representatives. Bronson?
Justin, the pledge would allow city leaders to act upon and make ordinances to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to a climate change according to state standards.
The pledge is that the city is otherwise committed to hazard mitigation, community resilience, and finding the strategies and pathways to produce that.
What concerns lawmakers the most is the liability that the city would face if they make the pledge but cannot follow through.
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding both between the public and the council with some unanswered questions, and I asked specifically if the legal team had looked at it before we signed anything, and they had not. So just to cover our bases and make sure we're not locked into something that we can't get out of.
If the city does adopt the pledge, it will help when applying for federal funding.
Under the current presidential administration, there is an executive order that 40% of any federal investments that relate to climate change, clean energy, energy efficiency, affordable housing, workforce development, and any remediation or reduction of pollution or cleaning of water must go to disadvantaged and underserved communities. Jamestown is one of those communities. So in our federal applications, we receive additional ratings because we are considered a Justice 40 community.
While the pledge was on the city's January voting session, it was tabled pending an analysis by the municipality's legal team and the Jamestown Board of Public Utilities. Reporting live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
All right, Bronson, thank you very much. We transition from climate to now weather with the chief weather forecaster, Andrew Stevenson, who's standing by with more today. And if you think about the past, 48 hours to 3 days ago, Andrew, we were in the deep freezer, and this morning waking up still chilly, but not as bad as it has been out there.
And by the time we get in the middle of the week, it might start feeling like spring out there. All these seasons in the span of 1 week. Here's what's happening over Warren right now. Most of the snow that was down there is pretty much melted away, and we've got green grass out there, if you call that green grass. But with all the warm weather, the snow is pretty much melted away. First defense Doppler radar, no precipitation on there right now, just plenty of clouds socked in across the region. We might break through, some sunshine might break through those clouds later this afternoon, hopefully. Yesterday, the high temperature was 43 degrees, the low was 26. The record high for today is 64. That was set back in 1991, and the record low of -16 set back in 1981. So for the rest of the afternoon out there, mostly cloudy skies. We might get some partial late day clearing possible with high temperatures today in the low to mid-30s. I'll have a look at the full forecast coming up, including more information on that earthquake that struck the Buffalo area this morning, Justin.
Yeah, certainly a lot of people feeling it, a lot of people not. We look forward to that update, Andrew. Thank you. As we continue the latest on a merger of two medical providers here in our region. And later this past weekend's frigid weather, it created the perfect combination for a popular chili cook-off in Chautauqua County. Stay with us.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
So you think you can cook? We're looking for chefs ready to test their skills, competing in a charity cooking show competition that features a platter of unusual ingredients, including popular local cuisine. Judged by a panel of local celebs, chefs are tested in 3 rounds before a winner is crowned. So you think you can cook? Register online at stsusancenter.org. Produced by Channel 716. All proceeds raised benefit the St. Susan Center in Jamestown, New York.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
2 regional medical providers in Western New York are merging operations to expand their reach. The Chautauqua Center in Jamestown is partnering with Tri-County Family Medicine Associates in Gowanda to better serve patients in Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, and Erie counties. Located at 1 School Street, physicians at the Gowanda practice will continue to practice medicine, keeping the same nurses and office staff. During the transition, patients should expect no interruption in services or care. Well, we have continuing coverage on Governor Kathy Hochul's state budget proposals. Our New York Capitol correspondent Elise Klein is breaking down the proposals for public safety and bail reform.
In her $227 billion budget that she delivered to the legislature this week, Governor Hochul promises $8.1 billion in public safety spending for the upcoming fiscal year. Public safety is an issue Governor Hochul has continually said is her top priority. In her executive budget address earlier this week, Governor Hochul highlights her coordinated efforts with the legislature to strengthen New York's gun laws. She says there are more areas to address, and her budget proposals intend to do just that.
We need to build on these successes and work to make sure that not everyone feels safe, but they are safe. On our subways, in our schools, on the streets, places of worship, and even in a grocery store.
Hochul's public safety proposals intend to reduce and prevent gun violence, improve the effectiveness of the criminal justice system, which includes changes to bail reform, and enhance state police efforts and address violent crimes. Hochul also says she will work with the legislature on bail reform policy changes that will likely be incorporated into the final 2024 fiscal budget plan, due on April 1st. Some lawmakers feel the current level of discretion for judges to set bail is contributing to crime and needs to be addressed.
We continue to have tweaks with bail reform and discovery reform. We need to have an overhaul of this, and it really starts with giving judicial discretion to our judges to basically consider the dangerousness of an individual when setting bail.
While some other lawmakers feel differently.
I'm not one that believes that that bail has been a driver of crime, because if that was the case, then I guess New York's bail laws affects the entire country.
The first budget hearing to address public safety is scheduled for Tuesday, February 7th. In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
Elise, thank you. Well, remember the COVID pandemic where quarantining and Zooms were the top trends? Well, 2023 might see a different trend, and this time it's at the grocery store.
Our costs have increased anywhere from 10 to 25%, and so we haven't passed all of that cost on to our customers. We've tried to minimize it as much as possible, but we're in that range, yeah.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is predicting some items often seen around the pantry and fridge could increase significantly this year. New Yorkers are being impacted by prices as farmers push back on the economic wishes. On January 25th, predictions made by the USDA include prices rising 12% for meat, 8% for dairy, 16% for fats and oils, processed fruits and vegetables, and 10% for sugar and sweeteners. Well, our frigid temperatures over the weekend didn't stop skiers and snowboarders from hitting the slopes at Peak & Peak, but it was the perfect weather to warm up inside afterwards with some hot homemade chili. Peak & Peak hosted its annual chili cook-off Saturday in the retreat. People could bring in pots of their famous chili recipes, sample other hearty renditions of chili, and vote on their favorite. Prizes were given out for the best overall chili alongside the spiciest and most original chili. All of the money raised at this annual event benefits the Clymer, Sherman, and Findlay Lake fire departments.
So my husband, Big Tasty, and I, we love to do these as like little side gigs and stuff. He is a phenomenal chili cooker, and
he does all the decorations.
So I'm a little competitive, but the Peak was having their annual chili cook-off, and we've been coming up here for the last 6 months or so and thought, let's give it a try.
Yeah, that looks like a tasty event. As I mentioned, prizes given out to the best overall and alongside the spiciest and most original. Honestly, I think I'd probably have to try the spiciest, some of my favorites. Well, coming up, we're going to take a look at a behind-the-scenes effort to continue to offer Code Blue warming shelters in Jamestown, providing a vital need for the area's homeless this winter. But first, when we return, Andrew has a full look at our weather forecast. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
So you think you can cook? We're looking for chefs ready to test their skills, competing in a charity cooking show competition that features a platter of unusual ingredients, including popular local cuisine. Judged by a panel of local celebs, chefs are tested in 3 rounds before a winner is crowned. So you think you can cook? Register online at stsusancenter.org. Produced by Channel 716. All proceeds raised benefit the St. Susan Center in Jamestown, New York.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights,
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite danger,
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
15-year-old Yadiel Diaz was subject to a public humiliation stunt by a fellow student in an act of violence and bullying. Now Yadiel's mother, Raquel, has had enough.
Officials are trying to work with the county's homeless coalition to help support the homeless population locally. There are also plans in the works to build 2 new shelters.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Downtown Jamestown, we're under cloudy skies. The current temperature is 28 degrees at the Jamestown Airport with a north wind of 8 miles per hour, and it feels like 20 degrees. Well, as Justin said at the top, we had an earthquake that occurred in Western New York this morning. It occurred in about 1.3 miles east-southeast of West Seneca at 6:15 this morning with a magnitude of 3.8 on the Richter scale. Now, we don't get earthquakes very often around our region, but we do have a fault that lies across the region that is the Clarendon-Linden fault that extends from Lake Ontario down to Allegheny County. That's responsible for most of the earthquakes we get in western New York. Most of the time it remains fairly quiet, but when we do get an earthquake every so often, it is very minor. Again, today's earthquake was only 3.8 on the Richter scale. Here's what's happening across the Northeast. Whoa, going too far there. Here's what's happening across the Northeast right now. Across the Northeast, we don't have much happening. Plenty of clouds across the region. High pressure will be built into the region through the rest of the afternoon. That's going to provide dry weather before another system arrives tomorrow, bringing in a few rain showers. Let's time it out on future scan for the rest of the afternoon out there. Mostly cloudy skies. We might get some late day partial clearing possible. Partly to mostly cloudy skies as we head into the night. Then as we head into tomorrow, we'll start the day off dry tomorrow, but a weak cold front across the region. That's going to bring some rain showers across the region. But temperatures will stay in the low 40s tomorrow, low to mid 40s, so all the precipitation will stay off as rain. Well, as we head into tomorrow night, we might get a few snow showers mixing in with cooler temperatures. And then for Wednesday, we start the day off dry with cloudy skies, but we should go partly to mostly sunny skies for the afternoon on Wednesday. So for tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies, quiet weather night out there, low temperatures will be in the low to mid 20s with calm winds. And now the next 7 days brought to you by Ultimate Satellite. Mid 40s tomorrow with rain showers, lower 40s on Wednesday with partly sunny skies. On Thursday, we might make a run towards 50 degrees, but it will be a rainy day. Mostly cloudy skies for Friday, and we'll bring in a chance for a few snow showers on the weekend as this roller coaster of temperatures continues, Justin.
Yeah, it really does here, Andrew. I wish it would just stick to one, either
Just
warm
stay
or cold.
one and don't even move.
Yeah, really. So I prefer warm, but you know, it is February. Andrew, thank you. Let's get some headlines from around the nation now. With mandatory evacuations, they're underway in eastern Ohio, the site of a train derailment, which happened Friday. 50 cars jumped the tracks, and that triggered a major explosion and fire that shot flames high into the air. The National Transportation Safety Board says 20 of the cars contained hazardous materials. A dramatic drop in temperatures in one of the rail cars could have caused an explosion, officials say. The residents living within a mile of the derailment are asked to leave. About 1,000 people have left, but more than 500 residents still remain.
We still have a hot zone in there that's actively being monitored, and when they say it's safe to go in, then crews will be allowed in there to clean up the site.
Now, a state of emergency is in effect. It'll remain in place until at least through Monday evening. It's still unclear what caused the derailment. Well, a Gang of 8 briefing on the suspected Chinese balloon incident may happen as soon as Tuesday. In addition to the top leaders in both chambers and key intelligence committee members getting more information on the matter, a full Senate classified briefing is scheduled for later next week. That's according to a congressional source. John Lawrence has the latest for us.
The suspected spy balloon from China is grounded for good. According to a senior U.S. military official, a single missile brought the balloon down Saturday, and the debris is in 47 feet of water spread out over 7 miles.
Clearly, this was an attempt by China to gather information to defeat our command and control of our sensitive missile defense and nuclear weapon sites.
President Joe Biden declared the takedown a success.
The president called for this to be dealt with in a way that balanced all of the different risks. That's exactly what happened. Military did a terrific job.
President Biden was decisive. He took the military's advice that the best time to do it, mostly because of public safety, was when this thing was over water, and it was taken out.
But some Republicans say the balloon should have been brought down sooner.
He allowed a full week for the Chinese to conduct spying operations over the United States, over sensitive military installations. I think this entire episode telegraphed weakness to Xi and the Chinese government.
The Chinese government issued a statement Sunday expressing, quote, strong dissatisfaction and protest against Washington's actions, adding that the airship was for civilian use and had entered the U.S. airspace by accident. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
John, thank you. China's vice foreign minister was ordered to lodge a solemn representation to the head of the U.S. Embassy in China on Sunday over the downing of this surveillance balloon. That according to a statement from the Chinese Foreign Ministry on Monday. Well, Monday's Powerball jackpot is estimated to be the 5th largest ever. Since no one matched all 6 numbers drawn Saturday night, Monday's jackpot is an estimated $747 million. That would be about $403 million if you chose the lump sum cash option. No one has won the Powerball jackpot since November 19th. The jackpot is big, but not close to an all-time record just yet. That was $2.4 billion back on November 7th. We're still waiting, by the way, to find out who bought that lucky ticket in California. Well, coming up next, a look at one of the 2 emergency homeless shelters in Jamestown providing a vital need this winter.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
So you think you can cook? We're looking for chefs ready to test their skills, competing in a charity cooking show competition that features a platter of unusual ingredients, including popular local cuisine. Judged by a panel of local celebs, chefs are tested in 3 rounds before a winner is crowned. So you think you can cook? Register online at stsusancenter.org. Produced by Channel 716. All proceeds raised benefit the St. Susan Center in Jamestown, New York.
Right here, baby. Look. Uma.
Noah. Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
Have you ever wanted to live out your dreams? Hunt, fish, in all corners of the earth? Well, now's your chance. Follow Primitive Patriot Outdoors as we live out our dreams and show you how to live out yours through outdoor adventures. From Western New York to Africa to all corners of the earth, follow us on this adventure. It's an experience you've never seen before. Lead and Lures, Roku TV, Channel 716.
For the past 2 months, a City of Jamestown church has been catering to a vital need, operating a code blue warming shelter for those who need it. Alyssa Wright joins us live in the studio with more today on the efforts to help. Alyssa?
Justin, the Joy Fellowship Free Methodist Church on 7th Street is one of 2 emergency homeless shelters in Jamestown that open their doors in response to the growing homeless population.
Well, something that was on our hearts for a long time was to try to help our community, especially our neighborhood.
Local religious officials sprung into action with coordination from city leaders.
Well, functionally, I think we're at about 8. We do gear for singles, but we were looking for homeless families that have come in and have used our facilities.
Unlike the shelter at the Gateway Center on Water Street, the Methodist Church's smaller footprint provided an easier setup with operations starting this past December.
We've been transformed by our experience
in
working
blessed
with the individuals who have come here. Everything that you think you know about people who live without an address, you really should just throw away.
The Joy Fellowship Free Methodist Church shelter holds up to 8 individuals, catering mostly to families. Another shelter operated by the Mental Health Association holds 20 at max capacity. The shelter is currently seeking volunteers and donations, and to help out, you can contact the program coordinator, Heidi LeBaron, at 716-489-1697, or visit the church's website, jamestownfmc.org.
Yeah, and this is such an important story, I think, to highlight. When you look at there are many helping hands across Jamestown, and the successes of this shelter, I think they need to be newsworthy, right? Of having us here today, where they were able to open after a few months of discussion relatively quickly, and albeit what you mentioned, 8 beds, I believe they have. So you look at the hundreds of homeless people. I believe they think the population is about 100. That was the last check that we had from city officials. To be able to at least, and again, this is less than 10% of the overall help, but at least it's something. And who's to say more churches couldn't do something like that? Have they talked about that collaboration?
Yeah. So Pastor Doty and I, we were discussing off camera, the hopes is that more churches, more organizations will see this story, and it'll kind of spark a movement to bring more people into, a safe, warm environment, at least for only the night. Right.
Which, that's the thing. This is not a permanent fix, right?
It opens at 5 p.m. And everyone has to be packed up by 9 a.m. But they say they see a lot of returning members, which is great. They like to come in, they'll help clean up. It's a cooperative.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Many hands make light work, and if we could have more churches like that around Jamestown, I'm sure that would make a big help. Alyssa, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is it for us today. News continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We'll leave you with this live look over the HD News Now cam. Have a great day.